Hey everyone, we have a MacBook Pro here, and it has a issue with the backlight circuit. It had liquid damage, according to the person I got it from. The laptop still boots, so as you can see, the touch bar still comes on. It responds to touch, and the keyboard caps light comes on, so the computer's booting. So that's a good sign. But as you'll see here in a second, when we look at the screen, there's no lighting or anything in it. You can still make out the actual image. You see the square box here. That still means that the image is being produced. It's just the backlight to illuminate the screen is not working. So this is kind of the setup screen here, you can see. But we are going to try to figure out why the backlight's not working anymore. Alright, so this is a A1989 model MacBook Pro. As you can see here, on the right side there's a line, and that is indication of liquid that has entered the laptop. It tends to pool up on the bottom plate because it's shaped kind of like a cup, and it'll give you an idea of where to look on the logic board for any sort of damage. Here I'm disconnecting the battery ribbon cable, and I'm sparing you the amount of time it took for me to undo every connector, remove every screw to get this logic board out. So I'm just showing you right at the end where I remove it from the case. So now we're looking at the board under the microscope, and you can see here there's signs of corrosion. It's the blue stuff that you see kind of around some of the circuit boards. Here it looks like we have a little corrosion around the CD3215 chip, which is the USB-C controller, and if this gets a lot of corrosion underneath it, it can prevent the entire computer from booting. So it is still booting, but there is signs of corrosion, so we will have to clean that off and clean it very well. Right here we have the microphone connector, and you can see it has a bunch of corrosion on it as well. We'll have to clean that up. Hopefully we won't have to replace it, but we'll replace it if we need to. So here is some corroded capacitors, and this is part of the backlight driving circuit. As you can see here, there's a good amount of corrosion here as well, and there's a resistor there, right there, that has a pretty corroded pad, so it may not be making a good connection, or there could be some tracking or something across those corrosion points, and that could be what's preventing the backlight from functioning correctly. So now I'm just going to start checking these components to see what they read and compare them to the schematic. So before I move on to any more troubleshooting by powering the board, I need to clean up this USB-C connector that I'm going to use to power up the board. As you can see, it is very badly corroded. This seems to be a point where liquid likes to collect whenever you have liquid damage for whatever reason, and it causes these pins to get burnt, And if you leave it on there long enough, it will actually destroy the pads or cause internal shorts. So here I'm just going to try to clean it up the best I can and test everything to make sure that there is no issues, no connection issues, no shorts, and get rid of the carbon and corrosion that you see here. And it takes a little bit of time to do, but it's not too bad. So here I'm just installing the USB-C connector and putting the retaining cover on it so it doesn't pop out from its connector um, while I have the power source connected to it, because that could be pretty bad because you have 20 volts um, present, and it just wouldn't end well if that pops off and touches other traces that shouldn't have 20 volts on it, or any other um, voltage that's not what it's designed for. So on the voltage output, we should be seeing around 40 volts. It'll vary, but we should be seeing a much higher voltage output that goes actually to the display. So the 12 volts is what's being fed into the circuit that controls the backlight. So we're not getting any switched output from the backlight circuit. So we still have an issue here. So back to this circuit, I still suspect there's something going on here. There's probably a connector that's shorted, or a resistor that's bad, or something that's arcing across some of that corrosion. So we're going to have a look at the schematic and see what we can find. So this is the part of the circuit in charge of creating the backlight, and sometimes what you'll find is that these resistors will get corroded or burned, and they won't provide the proper voltage that the ICs need to turn on. So I've seen this several times where they will not read the correct value of resistance and cause issues. Alright, so we're going to start cleaning some of this water damage here with some IPA. So here's the area that um, had the resistor that's reading off. After I cleaned it a little bit, I'm going to try to clean it some more. Let's get this back in here. I'm not going to hook everything up, I'm just going to hook just the essentials up just to see if I can get it to work. And abracadabra. Everything essential connected. Hey! We have backlight. So it looks like we definitely have backlight now. And everything looks good on the screen. Um, so all I can think of was that there was corrosion in that circuit for the backlight that was tracking somewhere or causing a partial short or something like that, which was why we were getting those weird resistive readings earlier before I cleaned the board. And then after I cleaned the board really well and got rid of the corrosion in that area, the resistor um, that we checked was reading its correct value at that time. So probably what I'm going to do is just make sure that there isn't any loose connections anywhere and conformal coat some of the damaged areas and put it all back together, and that's it. And I'll probably do a stress test on it just to make sure everything's good. Well, I hope you liked this video and um, enjoyed seeing kind of what I go through when I'm fixing these laptops. And like and subscribe.